There we go. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. The way that is. Cool. Awesome. Good morning. Good morning. Ready to get started? Good. So last week we did, the conversation was really centered around the code and living by the code. And so we've been diving into that and trying to implement that as the foundation of what we're doing, consistently bringing that into awareness, really being able to stop lying to ourselves, start living by a code. And then now this week, the core four, we're getting into the core four. So Craig, what's the core four?
Body, being, balance, and business.
Good. Body, being, balance, and business. And that's that whole container of life. So I want to let's see the facts. Like when everybody kind of asks, how you're doing. Oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Right. Yeah, let's stick around just the body, because we can start saying, oh, I'm good. Okay. When we start diving into that, really, we can ask the question, how are you in body? Like, let's really see where you're at. You just said, I'm good. We're going to start diving into the things of where we're at factually with our body. But just so we also all know, right? I'm good. Then we start digging into the being part. That's when people start falling apart, realizing that they're really not as good as I'm good. They say they are. The family part, they can start seeing that as well. And then within the business. But today we're just going to keep going over just the body, where we are, where we've been kind of factually, where we really are factually, and then we'll start diving into, what our goals are and what we've been learning and everything else. So Craig, kind of give us like factually where you kind of been, where you are, and then really your goals as well.
Factually, like where I've been as far as like in my body since the 3 weeks in.
No, do start where you were when you first came to Warrior Space.
Okay. So coming in, 9 months ago, I was at 324 pounds. I was in shape for 324 pounds, but you can't really be healthy at 324 pounds. But, I was just kind of cruising through life, kind of numb, dead, just kind of at the wheel. And, started coming to Warriors Peace. Met a lot of you guys. Really kind of, changed the direction of my life a little bit. So, the first thing I needed to, test and get a hold of in my life was probably food, my food addiction. And so that's, really what we focused on. And so, going, I'm trying to think. I think it was actually even heavier than 324. I think it was like 330 something, maybe. I think when I got to January, from September to January, I'd lost like 15, 16 pounds. So it's probably 330. Anyways, when we hit January, it was 324. Then from there till, now, has been around a 60-pound loss. So my goal, and we did that by addressing, being aware of that addiction, trying to address it, focus on that. There were definitely stumbles along the way, but I didn't let it ruin my mindset. It was just like a disappointment. And we didn't really know what stacking was, but you were mentally stacking that disappointment at that time. And then moving on, like, all right, let's, so what? It's not so what. I mean, yes, you disappointed. You weren't mentally resilient, driving yourself not to do it. But it doesn't mean we're going to start tomorrow just because you had a piece of cake tonight. You get your sack back on and you head back down the road. So, that was kind of my mindset. Since then, I've just been fine tuning that more and more. I'm not going to say I don't still get the cravings, but it's kind of like you go back in my mind. I'm like, is it going to get me where I'm going? Is this piece of cake or cookie or whatever it is, because, we work hard. We work out, in some form or fashion, we work out, do some type of exercise 7 days a week. It's not like you're putting in the physical effort. So why do I keep sabotaging myself? So really, it was all about the mental breakthrough of rewiring my thought process instead of, oh, I deserve this piece of cake. It's the lie that I'm telling myself. It was more like, you work so hard in every other aspect. Why do you let this sabotage you? It's not going to get you where you're going. So, long story short, my next goal, or the goal for going through this, is by next year, I would like to be, or by the end of my year, I would like to be, 250 or under. I think 250 is probably going to be a good point to where I say, okay, how far am I wanting to go? So well, now it's like
10 more pounds,
24 more pounds maybe. So, which is 100% doable. But, now after the initial weight loss and all that stuff, now you're trying to fine tune. The weight loss is slow. It's not as fast as it was. So it's a different mental mindset. It's more of a steadfast, okay, hey, we're going to apply this every day. And then maybe try and get, a pound a week or something like that going forward. But if I can
you're saying the same things that you were doing to lose all the initial weight, it's not going to be enough to lose the last little bit that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so.
Very good. It's good. So 80 plus pounds, hopefully.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, really, like from 5 years ago, right, when I originally started saying I needed to make some type of physical change, that was the 374. So 5 years is about 100 pounds, a little over 100 pounds.
That picture, holy cow, man.
Yeah, right. It's so funny. I didn't see it. And bro, here's the craziest part. Okay, in that picture, that Home Depot picture, right, I could squat 500 pounds. I could bench 375, and I could run an hour mile. Right.
Weight moves weight.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I could never do anything like that right now. Never.
Daniel, what you got, man? Where you at? What you been physically? Where you been? You've been with us how long?
Well, I've been November is when I started. I've gained 8 pounds of muscle and lost 3 pounds of fat in those since November. I've been battling the shoulder injury. It keeps me restricted as far as what I can do physically. But one of the goals I set when we started this body boot camp was to do my physical therapy 7 days a week. Because I have never given my physical therapy any amount of serious thought. So I have hit that target pretty much. I've missed a day or two, but my shoulder is very quickly healing itself and getting much better. There's good days and bad days, but just doing the physical therapy every day is absolutely helping me. Since starting the diet that Noel's got me on, I've actually lost 3 pounds. I don't know if that's muscle or fat yet because I haven't had another body scan since the first one. But just on the scale, I've lost 3 pounds. But as far as working out and doing my PT every day, that's going pretty darn well, except for last week because I was moving. But I worked out yesterday. I worked out today, or yesterday, the day before. I'll end up working out today. I'm working out a good 4 or 5 days a week and then doing my physical therapy 7 days a week.
Good. That's going to be some huge benefits just from the physical therapy. We implemented 4 or 5 months ago as well, like just even stretching. And I'd like to say I'm flexible. I'm not, but it is definitely helped. And so I'm sure that physical therapy, you'll know that'll end up helping more than the working out in some ways. So
yeah, just in the past 3 weeks since we've started, I've got gains in all of my lifts, which I've had kind of a plateau for a while. So the physical therapy is absolutely having an impact on the weight that I can move.
Good. Good. And just remember, like at our age, it's not, again, about how much weight we can move anymore. It's like, how many days a week can I work out without getting hurt? Like, that's where I want to be. Can I work out for a consistent amount of time, 3 months, 6 months, a year, without getting injured?
Truth.
Anybody that starts getting over 35 starts to realize quickly, like, maybe I just need to be consistent rather than moving the weight.
True. And when you're obese like that, that was my only claim to fame. I'm big because I'm strong. Now I can care less.
Yeah.
I just want to move well.
The diet part of my body is going extremely well. For the past 2 days, I've been within 50 grams of every category.
Okay. Good. Very good. And then I'm going to break your heart in the same thing. It's got to get to zeros.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's beautiful, but then that's the same. We're still, like, I was doing the same. I was anywhere from 30 to 60 away. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now that you're at that level, now tighten it up. You need to get it down to right on exactly how many grams
I wonder if it makes
to be
sense,
taking.
Like they have that meal prep deal, right? Like I wonder if they can get it down.
Yeah.
So like, okay, that might be the way. Like even though it costs you whatever for a meal, think about how much time you're saving, and then how much money you're spending on cooking your own food. Then you're going to clean it. Then you got other people that you're preparing for. If you can just square away your meals, I think I'm going to look into that.
Yep.
Getting those meals just prepped for me, dude. That just sounds like a way more efficient use of time, money, and everything.
Yep. You should try Skylar, man. If you're near here,
that. What is that called again?
Stretch and Flex. I'll send you his number if you want. I mean, his meals are okay, and they're not crazy expensive. But he could 100% work it out for you.
I mean, I think I'm doing my math. Like a nice dinner for me cost me about $15. If you include the steak, eggs, whatever, you're $15, $20 sometimes, depending on the steak. So if you can get these done for 10 and under,
yep,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think I would get like almost all, like it was like 80 or like $100, and that would cover, my meals during the week. Eating 5 times a day.
Because that's my biggest hurdle, right? Like being extremely in shape versus like better than average. I know I can be on the extreme end of it.
Oh, for
just
sure.
like you, I make up like that excuse, like, like, do I really want to opt for the real good organic food, or can I just, get something cheap and easy today, like get the pre-made meatloaf or whatever? And you think that's okay, but there's preservatives and crap in it that causes inflammation. So your body's actually not okay with it. It says meatloaf, but it's not, chuck roast that you mixed up with fresh onions and whatever. It's got all this other junk in there. Your body doesn't respond. My body definitely does not respond the same. Maybe it's the age thing,
It starts to change to know yourself. So where you at factually? Where you been? Where are you going?
Same. I push it. I trying to be healthy and strong, and I think that allows my weak little self to give me some excuses. I got the kids. I'm in a hurry. Just grab that burrito, throw it in the microwave.
Yeah, but factually, where with your body? Like factually, where have you been?
Oh man, I'm leaps and bounds from where I started.
Okay.
A lot less stress in my body. So like just by working out.
You have measurables though?
Yeah. So like I probably couldn't do 40 or 50 push-ups since the military. Probably didn't ever care about clocking push-ups. Now I can do 85 or so without stopping. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to do these 100 a day, and I'm like, man, I still can't knock out 100. And like I'm like 70. I'm like, yeah, I can still do it. And whatever, pitter out. And it's just in the brain, because your body can still move. You just think you can't. And I'm using it a lot to like body wise, I focus on my body when especially if I'm like getting tempted, like, all right, man, let's just knock out 25 and see where my brain's at. Then I'll walk away from the cookies and like, I don't want those cookies, It's crazy. Like putting that thing in has been the fun part, you know, like, okay, well, now I can knock out. Maybe I can knock out 100 instead of, you know, whatever.
So where are you going? What's your goals?
My goals are to be impressive in the mirror. And I don't mean that from a vain point, but to be like, dude, I remember when I was in that shape. Get back to the place where I know my body is healthy. I know that I can look at it and go, okay, I can feel good about it. I can see that you're healthy. And there's some drawbacks right now. I got some chinks in my armor. I'm not there, but I'm a lot further than I was. And a year and a half ago, wasn't interested in running around barefoot. But now I can run a mile barefoot. You know, it's
nice. In
like,
the grass or on the asphalt?
I mean,
There we go.
Not in the middle of the day when it's 110.
Not at that.
So I can see like now it's already at a place now where even in the military, you're in high extreme shape, but it's a different thing now. Like I'm in shape where it's not a task. It doesn't feel like it's like my life now. Like, okay, I respect that I enjoy to do push-ups, or I respect that part of myself that is enjoying it all.
Here, I want to see this. I'm going to come back to something. Andy, where have you been with your body? Where are you at now, and what's your goal?
I mean, depending on how far back we go, you know, I've been in extremes. Most I ever weighed in my life was 433 pounds. You know, kind of went through bariatric surgery at some point, but you know, even through the trials and tribulations of that, there was still a period where after I dropped down to 250, you know, I stopped working out. I used COVID as an excuse, still drinking and not taking care of my body, not working out. And I was back at 300 pounds. That was January a couple of years ago. And now, where we're at now, it's, say, 245 ago when I weighed myself last. And, you know, it's been a constant, from the beginning of the year, it's been kind of going back and forth. You know, I know I started this year at 233. I don't know why I got down so low. I mean, we were working out. I wasn't drinking last year for the majority of last year. So that contributed to where I got down to 233. But
which has been an awesome deal to watch.
Right. Which by now,
the dance back and forth.
Right. Because then I noticed it's just like, okay, well, do I really want this? What's the expense? What am I really trading here for? What are my parameters? Am I sticking to them? And just realizing that, at least in that part, with that drinking, I wasn't staying true to the principle or the parameter that I had set, and I was just going all over the place. But as far as back to the weight, now at 245, the goal is it's not so much a sense of a weight. I say I want to get down to 230 because I felt comfortable at 230. But the truth is, the whole reason, even before I got weight loss surgery, and I was working out then, because it's been a whole journey. I had to get to a personal trainer so I could learn to work out and learn to lose weight. And then I had to go through steps to fall off so I could find the next step, or at least get the piece of encouragement that I needed to progress into the next step. But now, and it's always been a sense of like, okay, it's for longevity. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. You know, at 300 pounds, even if you're in more shape than most other 300 pounders, your body's not optimized. I wasn't in a place where I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And full transparency, as a bigger man all my life, you look in the mirror and you're analyzing yourself all the way through. So to just want to be in a place where I'm just like, all right, I feel good with what I'm looking at. Not so much an ego thing, but it's a thing of finding comfort within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's got to be the body fat, because I want to get to, I say, a healthy place. You know, I still look at my BMI, and I might be a little older now, and that might contribute a little bit. And generally, the BMI is a little more kind of doesn't take everything into account, but I don't want it to say obese. And every time I open up either the Trainerize app locking our stuff, or the app where my scale's at, or where it registers the scale, it does say obese. And after so many years of hard work, I don't want that. I've felt the connotation and the negativity that is to be obese. And that hurts my heart every time. Because that's not a fun life.
Yep.
So the goal is to be at a body fat percentage of 20. I'm at, when I did it at the beginning of the year, or last month, at the beginning of the month, it was 29.4, which was discouraging. But got to have these measurables.
Yep. Got to have the measurables. That's good. Good. So we got the goals there. What do you got, Craig?
No, man, I was just going to say, bro, I resonate so much of that, you know, and there's turning points, right? There's stuff that makes you realize it, you know. There was a time, I mean, there's always been several times in life to where we were doing something, but I couldn't do it because I was over the weight, right? And like the last time was in Jamaica with the family, you know, and, you know, I looked at myself as more in shape than them, right? Except maybe Carson, because he was in football. He was a different story at that time. I had to sit there and watch them go on this zip line and go have fun, and I couldn't go. And I'm like, this, you know, effing sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and how long am I going to let this control my life? How long am I going to have to freaking be the guy that sits over there, fatty? And I was like, God, you know, that could have been a good time with my kids and my wife, and I wasn't there. You know, for whatever reason, there was times before that. For whatever reason, that one's like, you know what? This is it, man. We got to make a change, you know.
Yeah, that would
I want to get on the rides too.
Yeah, for sure. Which then usually in the life, like when it's like that though, yeah, your family's going and doing that. But I remember my mom used to be overweight. And so we would typically just avoid everything that she couldn't do. It was a lifetime of just doing things that she couldn't do, which was fun. I got to spend good time with her, but it's tough because I know inside her as well, she couldn't participate in a lot of things. So it limited everything. So here, let's talk about this then, which I think is interesting. We live in a culture, and in here we talk about stop lying to ourselves. That's been the main part of the code, bringing awareness to that. And I believe there's a huge lie right now, like everybody just laughs it off if, you know, the dad bod. Oh, what about the dad bod? You know, or I recently seen, now it's called the father figure. I'm way happier with the father figure. And it's just like, okay, I get where you're coming from. I can laugh at that as well too. But there's that part. Is it possible to continually get in better and better shape than what you are right now? What do you
think? I think one of the biggest, you want to know what toxic masculinity is? Boredom. A man that's bored. But if you're focused on your health, you won't be bored. It's so consuming. I mean, there's lots of ability to go. I took care of a lot of tasks yesterday. Mm-hmm. But the health thing is a big thing. Like, what am I going to do for lunch? Oh, I have this thing planned. I'm already thinking in the morning, like, oh, I'm meeting that person at that restaurant. What am I going to eat? Or what am I going to snack on this morning? How many pork rinds am I allowed to have? Whatever. For having a man needs a quest, man. You got to have something you're doing your things for, or you're not doing anything. So if you can say, okay, for today, in this arena of my life, whatever I'm doing for my body, this is my goal. Mm-hmm. Then you can plan on that. And that area, that slice of your pie on the pie chart is food and regulation of my fuel intake and my physical fitness. Then you can focus on that. I love having those goals. I love having that. Okay, I don't want to just like see a 6-pack. I want the 8-pack visible. You know, I want to or because I want to know that I'm not healthy. I'm not snacking down on, you know, starving my kids' snacks. You know, I'm focused on me. I'm doing what I need to do. And
yeah, it's huge. What do you got, Andy? What do you think? I know you're getting close up into that. You think you can continually keep getting better and better?
100%. It's like with anything that I see now, there's always like a depth. You know, I mentioned about logging the meals. The benefit of that is also you see what you're eating, and not just like visually seeing, but just like once you really start looking at what's going into it, you start seeing like, okay, well, I'm having all of this. And a perfect example is prepackaged grilled chicken, right? To save time. Okay, boom, it's grilled chicken, so it's got to be good. But when I'm eating that, my sodium intake is through the roof. My family already suffers through high blood pressure. Is too much sodium going to be a benefit or a detriment to me? So being able to see that firsthand, it's a benefit. And now kind of keeping that in mind. And also, you know, I don't like bland food. So I have to be mindful of it because, again, it's just the detriment. It can come way too fast. And then also kind of, you know, with the sugar thing, I love sweets. I do. You know, I see a donut and man, come here. Let me see you. Let me have you. But is it helping me? No, especially now. If I were to go and log a donut, that's 300 calories. What's those calories look like? If I'm just eating it, I'll never know. But if I know what it looks like, if I have that measurable of, okay, well, it's giving me this much protein versus fat and just sticking it within the macro. Am I really getting a lot of fuel, or am I just going to get a sudden spike of energy momentarily, and then 20 to 30 minutes later, probably at best, oh man, I'm hungry again. Mm-hmm. So am I really helping myself doing that? Absolutely not.
What do you think, Nathaniel? Can you keep getting better? We got to stick with this lie of the father figure or the dad bod.
As regimented and as purposeful and intentional I am with my diet and exercise right now, I don't see how you can't continue to get better.
Nice. Good. How's that feel, noticing that versus going with the lie like, oh, I'm going to just accept the dad bod or this father figure?
I had accepted the dad bod reluctantly, but I had accepted it. It's frustrating to me that my gains aren't faster because of my shoulder injury. But it's coming, you know. It's the consistency and the purposefulness of my diet, you know, the intentionality of what I'm eating, paying attention to those macros that we do now.
Good. Yeah, we start accepting like, oh, I just need to have a garage for my penis. Like, that's a good thing. Like, is it? Like, do we really have to accept that? Especially as we get older and older, even into our 45. I'm 45 now. At 55, does it need to be like that? Like, what can you look at 55? Like, you can start seeing pictures of dudes now at 55 that are freaking killing.
That's the thing too, dude. Like, here's the thing, bro. Like, you look at things and you go, okay, yep, I'll do that when time's crunching. Okay, how much time? How I've focused on food for 3 weeks and I still suck at it, and I'm in decent shape. I can only, like, really, if you're thinking at the last minute you're going to come in and be He-Man and figure out all your macros and save your life when the doctor says you got high blood pressure, you got to, like, that's a big heap of stuff, dude. Mm-hmm. Just not, like, accepting the fact that I can't have Lucky Charms anymore has been huge. And I'm in okay shape. So imagine if you're not, and can anybody, like, Nathaniel, you with me? You're not going to come in. You're not going to come in and do this.
Yep.
You got to, like, I'm seeing now that, oh man, I wish I'd have done this a long time ago. Figured out how healthy and not healthy things are, and not just accept, oh, it's okay, I'm okay.
Yep.
I've never put this much work into my physical health.
Yeah, but then, like, imagine in a year from now, this is going to be kind of second nature. I'm not going to need a tracking app. I mean, I'll still use it to see how good I am, but
just to be able to put in and hold that accountable, so you still have your measurables. Once we get rid of our measurables,
but wouldn't that be nice if this was natural? Like, if this is your
baseline,
like, you're doing this.
But what's interesting is when this becomes your baseline and you're used to focusing on the physical like this is where I want to relate this is This has just been about the diet and the body and the food. And you're not going to just go the same, oh, when the time is right, I'm going to nail all this, right? And then you got to make up for everything else. And what you also don't realize is people, oh, when I need to have my spiritual resilience, then I'm going to do the right thing. When I need my integrity, then I'm going to do the right thing. And it's like, no, you can see they're exposing themselves. No, you're not living that way. You say you believe one thing, but you're not.
And it takes practice.
Exposed. It does. Daily practice. Yep, daily.
I think it's just so huge too to not let it be, why does it have to be a life-changing event to make someone change? To say, oh, now I'm going to eat right. Oh, now I'm going to, try and follow the Lord correctly and increase my relationship with life, or be a better husband to my wife, or excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that life-changing event. If something happens along the way, fine. It is what it is. I don't want to say that's why I'm here. I'm here because I want to make that choice. I want to make a choice. I feel a calling to be better.
Well, what I see in your life and what I love watching and seeing is if you go to the doctor and you have to change it because you have to change your diet, then that guy is solely focused on changing his diet and now he has to get healthy. It is very fear-based. What I've watched in, say, Craig, for example, it is a choice. He brought it in more and more into alignment. And as he's bringing his body into alignment, he is literally connecting that same experience. And most men, as they're focusing on their body or they're focusing on their business, their marriage is falling apart. And that's because they're fear-based and they're focused on that one thing. So now they're about ready to get a divorce and they're trying to also do this. What I've watched, I watch it when you're doing this here, you're taking what you're learning and that spiritual resilience that you're gaining with your connection with God and that spiritual resilience, you're changing, and he is changing your mind patterns to be able to do that. And then that transfers over into your experience with your wife and your kids. And then you're also doing that within business. And so over and over, being able to extend that power into reality is what has continued to happen. And I think that's the most beautiful thing in the way that we watch and balance and do this, right? It's good. So we don't have to live with the dad bod. I'm telling you, that has been one of the greatest things. That dad bod, the father figure, it's an absolute lie. I know that we can continue. I know physically fit wise, so much better than even being able to even step it up from where I was this past year or two. Step it up physically and being able to start dominating even more and reaching goals that I want to go after. So I know it. And I see other men setting goals at 55, 60, looking amazing at 70, instead of accepting this place where now I'm in my 30s, now I'm in my 40s, now life is almost over. Let me just let it go. And not taking.
So many dudes are living like that, and they're saying they're okay when you see them at church, and they're not. You're like, right? Like I know.
Yeah.
But that is the problem, man. We're all accepting this heart issue, or we're not okay with anything going on, and we're not willing to say, "Hey, man, I have no clue. I'm like we talk about this Christianity thing. He's my rock and foundation. I have no foundation." I got nothing. I make money, whatever, or I figured out a way to feed myself, but pretty much that's it. It's my only talent. And it's embarrassing, right? So you don't want to go, hey, man, I need help, like beginning my first day. If you would just admit that, if you just say that, first of all, to yourself, I have real issues, man. I don't have life figured out. I don't know how to begin on this journey to be on the quest that Jesus is calling me to be. I don't even know how to start. So I've just relegated myself to going to Sunday school and coming to church and being here to appease the wife, because that's really kind of all you're doing. You're not really worshiping Jesus. You're not really acknowledging your body as a living sacrifice. And I'm preaching like that's myself, 100%.
Yep.
But
Yeah, but
Can't be the norm.
it's not if they can do it, it's if they have the courage to do it, to face themselves, to start unraveling those lies. Look at, instead of laughing it off or avoiding the things that they are not able to do, or wearing an oversized t-shirt more and more, or hiding and isolating from those things, instead of facing it, realizing factually this is where they are at, accept that, and then start unraveling those lies, and then put in the work and show up to put in the work. It's a lot. It's a lot. And they would have to unravel and face all of those. Right? It's tough.
Oh, it's crazy because the guy pulls into his garage, and he gets home and he's thinking, okay, I can watch my macros, or I can watch Netflix. I can go like work out in the garage where it's hot and sweaty, or I can sit on my couch in the AC and doom scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Apply that to anything, and then that's what they're doing. So instead of like, hey man, can you help me out and start? Well, like that's the hard conversation. Is okay. What are you doing with your time? Because you have lots of time in the day. How many different physical things do you go do, dude? Like 15 that you've rattled off this morning that you've been a part of since yesterday. And you have how many businesses going on? Right? And then you have kids. You have a great relationship with your wife.
Yep.
You keep this going and upgrading, and we're constantly changing, right? So if it's time management, like that's not a good excuse. Like man to man, I just won't hear that one anymore. You know, you have lots of time. We have lots of time. I have lots of time to take on way more. I used to think I was stressed out, like this little level of, you know, and I don't mean to undermine divorce, but oh, I'm going through a divorce. Oh, I'm going through a career. Oh, I moved from the West to, you know, I've got all these things going on, and kids and business, and yeah, welcome to like 90% of the world is dealing with that exact issue.
And kind of had an easy life yesterday and an easy life the day before, but somehow still need a break from my life that is not taxing.
Yeah.
Yep. Continually needed a break.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're pissed off because you're not jumping hurdles, but you won't even get on the track.
Stuff. What do you think, Andy?
It's like, what discomfort are you going to choose? I gotta say, like, is it fun working out? Not always. But I know I've sat in a place where like I've not worked out for months, and I beat myself up for it because I should be. So that's the bigger pain to me, the mental anguish that I put myself through for not going to, and even just with just working out, for not choosing that difficult when I know it has more benefit.
Yep. Good. Nathaniel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What else? What you got? Craig, what do you got?
I did have something, but it escapes me at this point. And I think Andy stole my thunder.
Okay. Really, how do you find balance? How are we finding balance? Because for all of us, we've been stepping into some crazy, amazing, huge things just in body, just solely in body, not the rest of our lives. Focus on body the past 3 weeks. And so as we're getting ready to carry that momentum forward, it's not like the same yesterday. Waking up to who we are, right, every single day, and not waking up to do the process or be in the process or worried about the program. Yes, we want to be doing these things, but waking up to ourselves, but then making sure to be aware and do these things and hold ourselves accountable. How are you balancing that in between both? Making sure you're doing what you're doing, but not losing who you are. Where's the balance? Like experientially for yourselves.
It's getting better. Every day I'm learning how to integrate this into my schedule more efficiently. Logging my meals and planning my meals is becoming easier day by day. In the beginning, it consumed my entire day trying to figure out what calories were in each item I was eating. You know, now that I'm 3 weeks in, I know exactly what's in most of the food that I'm eating because I eat regimented routine food. I don't eat different things every day. I literally have a ribeye, a hamburger patty, and some sourdough bread, and that's my food every day, which I'm fine with. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm not missing the exotic food because I feel so much better eating like this. But it was very consuming in the beginning, but it is getting more efficient day by day.
Yeah. I think that is a very good thing. I mean, it's transparent. It does feel consuming at the beginning, which is interesting because we should be about this. This should be what it is. And again, this is just what we're going over our body. I mean, we as Christians say we're going to be about the things of the Bible. And that's a lot. We're just talking about just a little bit of nutrition here, and it feels consuming, right? Especially at the very first when you're bringing that into awareness, it's a lot. But again, at what point does it become our baseline? And as this slowly becomes a baseline, it becomes less about the process, right? And then all of a sudden, it's literally who you are, right? And that balance of who you are, I don't need a break from it. It's who I am, right? What you got, Craig? Right?
Experientially, for me, it's kind of like I can't come up with nothing, but like, generally you start thinking about it, and it's just like with anything. How do you get good at something? You work at it, right? Same way we've been working here. We have to work on the relationships, the ones that mean something. It's not just, oh yeah, I have a great relationship with all of my family, but I couldn't tell you where they really are or how they're feeling. So you have to hold yourself just as accountable as I hold myself to now focusing on what I'm eating. I have to be as accountable when I ask. If I ask, like, hey, even speaking to my dad, hey, how can I serve you today? Is there something I can do?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that question's been sitting on my heart for a couple of weeks now. Full transparency, ask me how many times I've asked him.
How many?
0.
Do better.
Thank you. Yeah. Am I holding myself accountable there? Obviously not.
My dad's birthday would have been yesterday. He'd have been 91. Not that we lived to 91. We normally lived to mid-70s. So only got a couple good decades left. But yeah, man. What I wouldn't give to just hang out with him a little bit more.
Yeah.
If we could apply this if I could mark down my progression or key performance indications on relationships, 375 pounds.
As we're starting to get into the depth of this is what it truly is, the relationship part. If I ask somebody, how's your relationships? What are they going to tell me? So good. They're amazing. I'm good. Like, my relationships are good. Okay, cool. What we've experienced the past just 3 weeks. Okay, your relationships. Let's just see how your relationship is with your body. With your body. It's yours. Let's analyze your relationship with that and how that is. What's your relationship with actually doing physical fitness to take care of that? How's that relationship? How's your relationship to food? Oh, okay. Then you can start seeing the depths. If you're doing that with your body, you're doing that with others as well. You may be nice, maybe a nice guy. You may not get in arguments or be rude to people or whatever, but your actual relationship with them, your relationship is not good with yourself. Yet you're going to tell me that your relationship with them is somehow amazing?
If you're honest with yourself, I heard a statistic, I think it was one of the brains that everybody's listening to, said that a good person, a good liar can keep up with being the nice guy for a year. So everybody's nice.
Sure.
Nice, the equivalency, actually the root structure of that word is village idiot. Yeah. Like, it's different. If like happiness and joy, right? There's a difference between kindness and niceness. So like if my relationships matter, it's the more important part is not how kind or nice necessarily. It's how real am I being in that moment to be transparent so that truth can be the thing that's walked away with instead of everything's okay, man, high five and bye.
Which is once you cross that line into the relationship with what we have, you cross that line or you come in here, we know like, hey, where are you at? Like, and we're going to have honest conversation of what that looks like. And it will be things, do we want to hear them? No. Sometimes it's like, no, I don't want to hear it. There's stuff inside of me that you're bumping up against right now. That conflict, nobody in our culture seems to be able to handle or do. But in here, we've had those conversations. And then later on you go, okay, cool. Let me fix that. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, but the desire for being better will keep you attached to that. But if your desire is for comfort, you won't stick around.
You don't. And we see
Exactly.
end up being divorced.
Change has to be important. Has to be important. You have to realize your role in society. Are you part of the problem or part of the solution? I don't say a lot on Facebook, but what bothers me are when people have a lot to say on Facebook. Like, here's how you be a man. Not crushing on Warriors Peace, but everybody has their idea. Here's how to be a man. How about go be a man?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, go be a man.
Full of keyboard warriors now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what do we need? More information? Please pump some of that out on my screen, please. Thanks.
Well, that's the thing. If I'm posting it for Warriors Peace or whatever, I think you're going to know. Like, I'm in it. I'm doing it. If I'm posting it, I'm doing it.
Different. This is absolutely an avenue. This is the road. But then everybody has the pontification. It's one of my favorite words. It's this big, beautiful display of how awesome their life is. And they're obviously from visual references not happening.
Yep.
And I know your relationship with your wife and your kids. And it's a lie.
Yep.
But it looks good. You got a boat. You got smooth things to drink and cool music on your TikTok. But your information is actually piss poor because you're not being truthful with people and you're not actually humble, which is proof that you're not being truthful, because if you're truthful, you got a lot of crap in your bag that you really do need help with. I don't care what level you're at. You got something you're dealing with.
You're dealing with it. Absolutely. It doesn't matter.
Be real about it.
Be real. It's hard. It's easier for us because we're in it. We're men of action. We're trying to, be better, right? And how it all ties in. It just, what ends up happening is, is you end up catching yourself.
Well, hold on. It's not easier for us. It's not. Like, you're looking at a bunch of guys that jump off the high dive. Okay, cool. Yeah, look, it's easy for us because we're high divers. Remember the first time you jumped off the high dive?
Yeah.
You didn't want to jump. You probably crawl back down.
I probably did crawl back down.
So
the first time.
It's easy to look at us going, oh, we're doing triple backflip, quadruple gainers.
Yeah.
Those guys, it's easy for them.
They do all the time.
But we had to jump. We had to jump.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about that part? It wasn't easy. Now it's easy. Now I'm a freaking air acrobat. But I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That is
I started in the beginning.
So,
I always say, and it becomes ever more apparent, the whole knocking at the door, right? That's phase one. You got to walk through. Because if you ain't walking through it, if you ain't doing your part, that blessing ain't coming.
Right.
So you're going to have that choice like, hey, God, I need you now, please. Okay, my son.
And that's the Bible, man. And then the Bible says, do it every day. Make sure you're in the faith. Make sure all your stones are crossing over the River Jordan. Every bit of your heart is actually in full allegiance with the King, because your little puny little baby little heart wants to run away and flee, because it is tough. But if you got a band of brothers that are like, look, dude, this thing is worth the fight. And I was in that place of doubt. And then I stuck through it because I had another band that stuck with me. And then I saw the promised land, man. I'm telling you, stick in it. You're going to see it. And if you had that encouragement, I can do 85 push-ups if you're hollering. I could probably do 100 right now if you're hollering at me, right? Right? If you're with me screaming, come on, buddy, do it. You got it.
But men keep doing it alone.
They try to do it alone.
They do it alone over and over. Bro, I got it. I'm going to fix it. It's amazing.
Impossible.
I love Jesus. Jesus wants me to be alone.
Not possible.
Jesus does not
You're
want you to be
sucking
alone.
on the big fat tit of lies, dude. That is exactly, you just want to feed your own ego which is really suppressing your ego, because your ego wants to fly, man. We always talk about killing the ego, and it's a misnomer, because there is a sense of you, the unity of you and the Father, that has to flourish. But if you are worshiping that little piece of you, you're going to just want to keep it comfortable, and it'll never grow. Never grow.
It's always trying to keep it comfortable.
It can be comfortable.
The ego's always trying to keep it comfortable.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, I want Craig, how have you been able to stay motivated and disciplined and in this, how you been staying motivated and in it?
100%, not 100%, probably 80% of it is me just wanting to be healthy, wanting to not be limited by my weight. I want to be healthy and be able to be mobile as long as I can in life, as long as the Lord blesses me with that. The other half of that is, the 20%, has to deal with the way my wife looks at me. Or even like I was telling Raylan, you get out and you see people like, man, we got Nathan. You go out and they're like, that's an in-shape guy. You get looks, right? Well, I've been out of that. I haven't really noticed that in a long time. So it's like a little different. I actually talked to Dina about it a little bit, but not that I want her paranoid or anything. I was like, but you deal with this all the time because you're a beautiful woman. I don't. Of course, I'm at my desk. All I got is 2 cats and a dog looking at me all day. You want a treat? You ready to go for a walk? But yeah, so that's
the way to know in your own self that you've changed, and then you see and receive and experience the world different.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny things, right? That you don't get. I used to hate shopping. I've never wanted to go shopping, and heaven forbid me order something online, because it's questionable if it's going to fit. So there was an hour or two that I killed in Academy, and I literally went and tried on every brand of 38 waist they had, and every single one of them fit. Some were tighter, some were a little looser, but I was able to get them all on. So that's like, you can walk in. I'm like, hey, they probably have that in stock.
That's saying something. If you can fit into Wranglers, because
I'm
they're not forgiving.
There's definitely, like a moose knuckle, but we were working it out. All right.
That's the moose forearm, dog.
That's good. What keeps you motivated, Andy?
I think because I have to draw it back to the food. And it has become fun. It has become its own little game. And I've been a gamer for years. So now not playing video games, dude, these are fun games I'm playing, trying to figure out, okay, so I have this many calories left, but I have all this fat that I have to find a way to get in my body. So it's really like that dance of like, okay, what works here? Like last night, I had way too many carbs, but I still needed 20 grams of protein. I had like 31 grams of fat remaining, and I had 301 calories.
Love you, Craig.
It wasn't a bullseye day. I went over on my carbohydrates, but I still got that protein. By the end of the night, I wanted it to be at least within 10% of that fat goal. So I got home about midnight over here scooping butter. 3 grams of butter to get me where I needed to be. I've never eaten butter just straight on butter. That sounds disgusting to me. But, you know,
sweet.
I wanted to win that game.
Good. Love you. We're going to start closing this out. Okay. So the same. Okay. Awesome. Nathaniel, what keeps you motivated?
February 9th, 2022, I would take my shirt off anywhere and be proud of it. Since my shoulder injury, I don't ever take my shirt off anymore, but feeling my strength come back over the past 3 weeks, I know I can get back to where I was. That's what's keeping me motivated. It's every day I'm getting stronger. And I've been 2 years of just pure weakness.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. It's good having that. What you got, Sean? What keeps you motivated?
All right. There's the big ones, my kids. Life, I have a big respect for life over the last year and a half. I want to be healthy for life and fit and ready for what's coming, and be able to look back and realize that I was able to take advantage of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a lot to do with my abilities physically. So then, but also I'm single. So I like to be, I want top shelf. I want to be top shelf. I have that bit going on. And then I also, I feel like I know God has called me to be a role model, and you got to have the look, it's got to look, you got to look right. I hate to say it, but I'm not listening to any health advice from someone who's smoking a cigarette and is morbidly obese. If you don't acknowledge it in your own self, then, so I want to be able to come from a place of internal power and equanimity, which is one of my favorite new words, but come from that place, but also in humility and compassion, be able to share that, display that in a way that is like, okay, if I can do it, you can too, right? So then there's that.
There's a level that we all know. You all know. Like everybody knows. Like, you can't pay just to have a good body. There has to be work that's put in. Has to be work put in. And there's a level of that. You have to be disciplined and put the work in. Like, are we lucky enough nowadays to be able to take vitamins and TRT and do every part of that? Amazing.
Supplement.
Love it. Absolutely. I supplement my body with food. I'm going to supplement my body with every part that I'm capable of. But we are now in a place like, you have to put in the work. And so I find it beautiful.
Yeah. Super motivated.
Yep. It's good. That's the thing. You talked about gaming. The thing that keeps me, I look at it, and I know that's probably the culture that you grew up in, right? But men, like, this is war for me. Like, there's people that are dying, right? There's men, their souls that are dying. They say they're alive. They say they're good. I can see that they're not. It is war for me. Like, every day to be able to do this and fight so that we're able to go to war and do this. I war within my own self, falling back asleep. And I so continually every day I wake up to wake myself up and remember who I am and go to war for myself, fight for my family, fight for my community, fight for other men to be able to wake up and do this. Like, this for me is war. And so inside of that, I know continually through waking up, especially the past 4 years, like, I know this is where I'm supposed, I know we are called to be better and do better in part in all of that. And I see men, very few, but I see men that are continually staying in that, waking up to that every day, us encouraging and being able to continually wake each other up, because we become in this normal, numb life, this existence, and then all of a sudden everything else goes, I can just experience whatever I want, and then we become miserable, right? And so it's been amazing to watch every single one of you end up waking up and going to war for your diet, going to war for your food, going to war, doing that. And this is where I picture myself fighting for you, but then watching all of us continually fighting for ourselves, fighting for our kids, fighting for all of these other better things. And so we're in it, man. Like, we are in the vein of this, okay? And so it's not that all these things just disappear. It's not that it becomes easy and we don't have distractions, even with the body or not working out or the food. Like, it does, all the distractions don't disappear. The sweets and goodies don't disappear. It's because we are in the fight of this and know what we're fighting for and have a goal and fighting for those things. Super important. And it becomes better, and you're alive, and I can watch it. Okay. But we can watch and see when people are sleeping. Right. And so, amazing. We'll end up closing this out. We pray us out. Right on.
Father, thank you so much for all of your being that you shared with us today. You are truth. So if we got any truth, we got you. So thank you for that spiritual vitamin, the vitamins that you've given us today. Thank you for this group. Thank you for this call. And Lord, you say that if we lack anything, lack wisdom or faith to ask of you, you give unsparingly, and you love us. So, Lord, I pray for that over us. But I also pray, Lord, for more of a keen sense on each of our hearts and our minds of what it is that we are doing. Just like Raylan was saying, Lord, waking us up. I pray, Father, you'd help us to remember that early moment, as soon as we rise, what this is, this relationship with you, our relationship to others, and how important this call is. It is. What a fire. And so, Lord, forgive us where we fall. Lord, continue to fuel us up where we're succeeding, and be our strength and our weakness. Let us be known by your love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Good. Much love, much respect. Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.